A great question is if you're in the learning game and you're not particularly active on social media, why should you? So I'll use my own story, I guess, as a little precursor to that. I joined social networks when I worked in an organisation that used them really well to connect with a community of users. And I went out and used the social web to find out more about our organisation than the organisation was telling me about itself. So there is a kind of sense check in how do we look out there. So if you want to know about company reputation, take to the social web and look at it from the from the outside in, I guess. But what I discovered very quickly was a hugely generous, hugely insightful, very energetic community of practitioners in HR, learning, internal comms, and all sorts of other specialist fields. So I now feel like I've got a connection to a super gang of experts who find brilliant content for me that I wouldn't otherwise find. So if you're a learning professional wanting to keep yourself sharp, social tools are a terrific way to do that at low cost and actually kind of low energy, because to start with, if you create accounts and find really good people to follow, they will submit postings and share content with you that you can just watch and consume and learn from. You then find actually that the benefit in this is what you give back in. So there literally is a kind of trade. So if you read a terrific article about where the future of learning is going and you tend to have a different view on it, you could share that with people and it will start a conversation, and it might change your mind, it might alter your view slightly, it might give you other considerations. So it's a bit like having access to roundtables, think tanks, workshops, all those kinds of things that you savour but that you don't have access to all the time. Online, it's regular, it's incessant, and it's very useful to you, mined and channeled in the right way. I think what happens after a while is once you get used to receiving posts, you can start to feel a little bit overwhelmed with the content. So that's when you start needing to flex the skill of curation. So this is where you can store and bookmark and save and favourite, so that at any given time you know you can go back and search your own database of content. So I think you need to go in with an active mind in terms of consumption, but then you also need to get quite organised. But again, the benefit in it is that you've got this bank of accessibility, of regularly and dynamically updated content that you would struggle to find in any other way. I love reading books. And so I do consume books in the same way as I always have, some of them online now. But what I find great is when I'm inspired by a certain aspect in a book, I might write a blog about that and my own view on it, and I will get some comments and some feedback and some critique, which I then know helps me form a view of whether that's a line I want to take about, sticky learning, or about neuroscience, or about something to do with new ways to make sure people capitalise on the learning that we provide as professionals. So I think that's what they're missing out on largely. Content, the network, critique, storage, retrieval. And it's just this renewable source of insight and energy that I think is the major benefit that I found. So after a while you find people who've got expertise, and if you just need that one thing, you can ping them a message, get some content back, and other people might join the conversation and say, hey, I saw you talking about that, I've got some other insight. So unexpectedly you get generosity from people you've never even met. So that's the benefits of working in that way, and I think after a while you start to want to add to that mix by creating your own content. That comes. Don't worry about that not being too quickly conceived a possibility. Consume the content first, learn how to manage it, learn how to retrieve it and deploy it. That's the benefit of using the social web.